All right, since I'm that gun guy from all my friends, on occasion I'll get someone that'll ask me, hey, I'm looking at buying my first handgun. I don't really have much of a budget to work with. First thing, each paycheck, put 20 bucks, even if you can afford 50 bucks, put that back until you have the money to buy a full-size duty gun. And by a full-size duty gun, I mean a modern striker-fired gun like your Glock, your SIGs, your XDs, your Smith & Wesson M&Ps. Those are quality firearms. They're full-size, so you don't have to worry about the massive recoil you're going to get out of a subcompact gun. So save your money. Do your research along those lines to see what you're going to like. A lot of ranges will have guns that you can rent them, go shoot them, see which one you like. Make sure it's in 9mm. It's your first handgun. 9mm range ammunition is going to be, it's half the cost of a .45. So 9mm striker fired handgun. So save your money up. 50 bucks a paycheck if you can afford it. 20 bucks a paycheck if that's all that you can afford. Save your money up and buy yourself a Glock 19 or Glock 17. That's just my preference, but after that, you're going to want to make sure that you get some eye protection, ear protection. It can be little foam earplugs, that's fine. If it's an indoor range, I prefer the Surefire Ear Pro plus electronic muffs, just so that I don't go away with a headache after shooting at an indoor range. After that, you're going to take a basic handgun safety class. Sometimes you can take those before you buy the gun. It just depends on if the instructor has guns that you can rent, or if you're going to take something like the NRA First Steps, in which, hey, it's just about safety. There's no actual live fire. But take a basic handgun class. Do that before you take your permit class. So after your safety class, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you get a total of about 3 to 5 magazines for your gun. And these are not aftermarket magazines, but like a Glock or a SIG, buy a Glock brand or go buy your SIG brand full size magazines that fit into the handgun. They're going to be more reliable than a lot of your aftermarket guns, and it's just good to have. So 3 to 5 magazines in total, and then go pick up about 10 dummy rounds. After picking up the dummy rounds, if you've got kids, or even if you don't have kids, you're going to want a way to safely secure your weapon in your home. You have the nano vaults and the speed vaults. The speed vaults are really neat. They're about 200 bucks, but you can get one that also has a thumbprint biometric. I've got a friend that's got one. It works really well. The other ones have a keypad on it. You can punch those in, see how those work out really well. But you're going to have to be able to properly and safely secure that weapon in your home, just in case your home is burglarized. Having a firearm is your responsibility. You have to keep it safe. After that, an inside the waistband holster and an outside the waistband holster. Now, your inside, actually the first thing you should get is probably an outside the waistband holster. Even the Kydex, Uncle Mike's, I'm not a big fan of Uncle Mike's, but the Kydex ones like this work really well. They're good for starting out. This is basically what your first holster is going to be. You can get them for about anywhere from 20 to 35 bucks, depending on the store you're buying them from. There's nothing wrong with these. I have a love affair with Safariland because it's part of the duty gear that I wear. This is a Safariland one for my Glock 19 with a light attachment on it. It's a belt slide. I could change this out for the belt slide out for a paddle. There's nothing wrong with that. These are range holsters. These are not carry holsters. This is for you to go to the range, practice, and more importantly for you to use during a class. Because the next thing you need to do is take the permit class. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to carry concealed or not. It's the simple fact that you have that permit just in case you make that decision, hey, I'm going to carry my gun today. Well, now you can carry your gun. After that, or before, get an inside the waistband holster. This is one version that I have. It's Kydex. I prefer Kydex. Excuse me, cat needs to move. So I prefer Kydex inside the waistband with the belt loops. I'm not a big fan of the little J clips or anything like that, but you can get something like this. This one was probably about $80 from, I think it was DSG Arms. Yeah, DSG Arms. You can get a crossbreed holster or the Alien Gear holster, which is cheaper than the crossbreed, but you're picking up an inside the waistband holster. That's for concealed carry. All this is going to be really quick right after you buy the gun, but keeping in perspective the home defense, if you're going to buy a Glock, perfect example is the Glock 17 or Glock 19. Glock 17 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, for a total of 18 rounds. So go buy a good quality defensive round. Spear Gold Dot is what I carry. It's a really good round. Mine's a 124 grain Spear Gold Dot right now. 20 round box, 1 magazine. That's what you need for home defense. You're good to go. And you now have also spare magazines that you can use for training. So 20 rounds of Spear Gold Dot. You get your permit. Go take a defensive handgun class. Now, it doesn't have. You don't have to go to Travis Haley or Larry Vickers or anybody like that. A lot of times, a police officer teaches out of a local range, and they'll have a basic firearm safety class and a permit class, and they'll have a defensive handgun style class. Go take that class and learn something, because your permit is, all it's doing is you have a very, very small basic understanding of the law, and you've demonstrated that you can safely shoot the handgun. You have an absolute minimum level of competency with the handgun and safety. That's all your permit class is. It allows you to carry, but it doesn't teach you anything about how to carry, how to draw, any of those things. You need to go and take a class after the permit class, and it's got to be a defensive handgun class. It doesn't matter if you're shooting 150 rounds, 200 rounds, or a 500 round 2-day class. It doesn't matter. Just take something and then work on improving yourself. After this defensive handgun class, you should understand dry fire, or dry practice, some people call it. And all that is learning how to draw, manipulate your handgun, proper sight picture, trigger press, things like that. There's a lot of stuff out there online. Claude Werner has a lot of really good stuff. And what you're going to do now, you've bought all this stuff. Now you're going to actually practice. So you bought all this stuff. You've saved up your money. You've bought each item as you needed to acquire it. You're going to continue to save money. After you've bought the gun, one of the key things that you need to do is each payday, go buy a 50 round box of ammo and put it back. If you go to the range to go shoot, go buy a 50 round box of ammo to go shoot. Don't dig into that until you want basically back stock of anywhere from 500 to 1,000 rounds. And what you want for that is you want to build that up so that when you decide, hey, I do want to take this class from this instructor that's in the area, and it's 500 rounds in 2 days. Well, now you have 500 rounds to go take that class. You don't have the additional cost of buying ammunition. And then you just start over again. You start building that ammunition stock back up. So, 50 rounds of paycheck, after a while it adds up really quickly. So, after that, you want to start getting into home. You can do home defensive stuff, where you can home defense specific tactics, or you can go straight into a flashlight and learning flashlight, low light techniques. So making sure that you've got a good flashlight. I mean, this is a Surefire right here. It's a really nice flashlight. It's a really expensive flashlight. The one I actually have got to where I carry now is a Bushnell I picked up from Walmart for about, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks. It's just a little itty bitty. It's not super bright, but it's enough that day-to-day use, I use this more than, and I carry this. That's the key point. I carry this more than I do that Surefire. So, flashlight. Learn how to use a flashlight with your handgun, reloads, malfunction drills, things along that. And you're already going to be training on that in your dry practice that you're doing regularly. Make sure you understand how to safely do dry practice. If at some point you realize that, hey, this M&P is just a little bit too big, or this Glock is just, it's a bit too thick, it's too clunky for me to carry, I want something kind of compact to carry and things like that, go buy a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield in 9mm. Or if you can find one, buy Glock 43. Gives you a subcompact. Honestly, I'd go with the M&P Shield. It's easier to find and it's a little bit more ergonomic. I've got the Glock 43. It's a good gun. Sometimes I wish I'd bought the M&P Shield. But go buy that and an inside the waistband holster, crossbreed, incog, alien gear, whatever it is, as long as it's not cheap, floppy, and it collapses in on itself. Now you've got a home defensive gun, and you've also got something for concealed carry. You've got two guns, same caliber, 9mm. Need ammo for 9mm? Guess what? Now you're going to go buy your second box of Spear Gold Dot to put into your M&P Shield. From this point, you're going to continue to buy ammo. Each payday, buy a 50-round box, put it back. Training ammo, cheap. Buy cheap training ammo. It's training ammo. It's what you use to go to a class with, go to the range, do a 50-round drill once a month. Weekly, spend 10, maybe, actually just 10 minutes a week doing simple dry fire techniques. 1 week work on draws. Next week work on malfunctions. Week after that you're working on trigger press, draw to trigger press. 10 minutes a week. And if you can afford to go to the range twice a month, go to the range twice a month. If you can only afford to go to the range once a month, go once a month. Hell, even if it's twice a month, take 50 rounds and have a set plan on, I want to work on accuracy at this distance. I want to work on my time for draw to first shot. There's a million different things that you can do, but go in there with 50 rounds and have a set plan. Just don't go out there and go, because otherwise you're wasting your money. All you're doing is making brass. Continue to improve yourself. Try and take one class a year. Again, hey, if I had the opportunity to go to Gunsight back in June. It was an absolutely wonderful experience. 5 days up there. It was excellent. It was really great. Also had the opportunity to do a 3-day instructor's class with Tom Gibbons outside of Austin, Texas. That was pretty intense, especially the fact that in order to get a certificate that I needed to renew my trainer's license for the state of Tennessee so that I could continue to teach armed guards here. I had to, in order to get a certificate from that class, I had to make a score 90% or better on his written exam, the FBIQ course, and the Range Master qualification course. Thankfully I was able to do that, but that was pretty intense, and it just, I was proud of myself for bringing myself up to that level. But I still go and take a class to learn more. As a student of the gun, Paul Marker always says, once a student, always a student. And that's what you're doing, is you're learning how to safely and properly use a firearm. And I didn't even at all touch on the legalities of it. I mean, that's a completely whole separate video right there. So now if you're really wanting to get into it, the next thing you need to buy is AR-15. So, but quick rundown. Whatever you can afford to put back per paycheck, put that back. Even if it's just $20 or $50 each paycheck, put that money back. It's going to add up fairly quickly, in order for you to pick up your firearm. And even before you buy your firearm, you can buy that little 20 round box. And you can buy that little nano vault that you can lock your gun up in. You can buy your Ear Pro. You can buy your eye protection. You can pick up a lot of that. So over that course of that time, but you know, put that money back. Buy yourself Glock, SIG, M&P, XD, any of those modern striker-fired handguns in 9mm, and that's going to serve you pretty well for a home defensive gun. That's all I got. This is actually my first video actually sitting here talking to a camera. So if you've got any constructive criticism, I'm open to it. If it's not constructive, I'll just delete you out. All right, thanks for your time, guys.